Hi, this is Andy from the Bobber Journal. Today I'm taking off my cheap Pakistani pipes that I got on the Stampede and putting on a cool 2-in-1 stock 1972 Night Train exhaust header with a fishtail that I got this weekend. So as you can see, these are the cheap pipes I got on Stampede. They're already all pitted and rusted from the cheap chrome, and they were just a on-the-road fix. Already got them off, and I'm putting on this header here, 2-in-1. It goes back behind the transmission with like the the stock Superglide headers, so you can have the mid controls. And I've got a old fishtail that I cut off some other pipe clamp on. So in accordance with the first rule of working on old bikes, nothing's ever easy. There's all kinds of clearance issues with my mid mount, so I took some spacers out of there, which now I have to readjust my alignment for my master cylinder in the rear, and then additionally clearance issues with the oil tank. So I'm working on that. I'm going to put some spacers in the up in the where the gasket would go, and use 2 gaskets. I'm going to cut my old pipes and use those clamps for spacers. So we'll see how it goes. So this is my new bracket. As you can see, I've got that set up so that it'll mount back here behind the transmission, as opposed to my old bracket, which mounted onto the transmission. So now it's just going to be a game of seeing how much spacing I need to drop this back in order to clear the pipe. So over the last few months I've done a couple projects on the Shovelhead. A couple videos have updated you along the way, but now we've got the exhaust and the new transmission in, so I'll show you the final product. So as you can see, it's a 72 2-in-1 from a night train with a just a clip-on cut-off fishtail I got for free, just cutting it off the back of an old one. And the transmission is in. To get the exhaust in, I had to make a couple brackets so you can see that one there connected to the frame. And then additionally I had to move the oil tank back an inch. You can see the space there between the backbone and the oil tank, so I could have a little bit of room between the lines and the pipe. To do that I had to make a little bracket. I don't know if you can see it in there, but it's back there and it's just a little spacer bracket, and I've got it locked into the frame with that clamp on the bracket, and then that Palco clamp for the frame there. Protected on the frame pretty solid. I put Evo exhaust gaskets in. That seems to work really good with just a single Evo exhaust gasket. A lot of guys say they use the Shovelhead gasket and the Evo exhaust gasket, but I only use just the Evo exhaust gasket, and it forms a pretty good seal. So overall, the bike's back on the road, getting me to and from work every day. It's the winter time here in North Carolina, so average temperature is probably around in the 40s, and she still kicks over about the second kick. So that first or second kick statement is with the caveat that the last footage that you saw with me kicking it over for like an hour it had been sitting for a couple days while I was working on some exhausts, some gaskets rather, and also it had the original Shovelhead gaskets in it, so it was pretty leaky. So it was basically super rich. But now that I've got it tuned, or not tuned, but sealed up, it kicks over pretty good. So this is an interesting thing. This is the axle that I took on the Stampede. I put another axle in because this one's a little bit too short, but you can see that bend in it, which I thought was pretty wild. It's probably when I jumped over the tee on the golf course by accident. Probably about a 3-foot jump, but this looks like it's an aftermarket exhaust, chrome exhaust, or not exhaust, but axle, and apparently they are pieces of shit. So if you're putting a new axle in, try and get the OEM axle. So this is the new axle I put in. It's a 13-inch Softail axle. As you can see now, there's plenty of space for these spacers, just washers for now. Probably get spacers made eventually to line up with the adjuster bolts there on the axle plates. Before, the axle was so short, it's like a 10.5-inch axle, and these bolts went right up against the nut head, so it was really difficult to adjust or align. But now it's all good to go. As you can see, that's how she sits right now. I'm pretty happy with how it's performing and how it's looking right now. The 2-to-1 with the fishtail adds a little bit of back pressure, seems to reduce the drag lag there lower on the lower end of the power band. It's easier to put into first gear and let the clutch out and everything. It stalls less / does wheelies less, which is nice. It's a little bit easier to control and has a little bit more bottom end. Hopefully she stays reliable for me for the next couple months, and we'll be in this relatively same form for the next Stampede.